But he gets pretty in there about, hey, listen, you're incredibly powerful, although you don't know that yet. Some of you do, but most of you don't. And at a minimum, you must learn to protect your energy. So if you're feeling super angry and outraged about what's happening and you're blasting out, and, I even raised the point of going to these, we've got to all work together to fight the government. You haven't stood back high enough yet, far enough yet from it to look down on it from the 10,000 foot range to realize it's not the government that you're fighting. You're fighting a world and a theater that was meant to go this way. And when you really start to disconnect from the third dimension and you start to pull up at moments in time, which is really hard to hold fifth, and I really fight to hold fifth. I daily just, if I can get 30 minutes a day in the fifth, I'm feeling that's pretty good right now. Yeah, there's people that live in the fifth and hold the fifth, and that's phenomenal. And this is just, it's like back to boot camp learning. We've got to learn how to, pull ourselves from third dimension, raise our vibrational frequency high enough up that we actually begin, our spirit begins to connect to our soul. And when our soul becomes the driver in our life from the heart rather than, the thought process, our brains and our emotions, we allow our heart to purify ourselves. We meet and we embark on becoming a much higher version of ourselves than you can ever imagine. And when you do that, you literally start to, I mentioned this in one of my other videos, your DNA, your telomere length of your DNA strands begin to grow code that has always been there, but your vibrational frequency hasn't directed your cells yet to go and build it. And when you raise your vibrational frequency and your cells are connecting to that energy and they feel that frequency, they immediately start growing those hidden DNA cells, and you start to grow a telomere longer DNA strand, and that raises your frequency. And when you raise your frequency and you connect to your soul, you start to see things from a different reality, a different dimension. You start to realize the power that you have. You start to actually remember who you are, how many times you've been here, the past experiences that you've lived in, numerous looped lives on this earth to learn whatever it is that you came to learn. You start to realize that you chose to come here. Why would you choose to come to this? Well, there would have to be a heck of a good reason, wouldn't there be? There'd have to be something pretty spectacular for us to choose to be stupid enough to come here in the first place. Well, when you start to understand that, you start thinking differently. You start going, well, if I chose to come here, there must have been something pretty good. Well, I wonder what it is. And you start to think differently, and you start to understand more, and your soul starts to educate you on who you are, the power you have, the divine connection that's within you, your ability to download information that you've never known before, your ability to separate yourself from the emotional side of the world, your ability to make significantly different changes in your life that are going to be much, much more aligned to living your highest and best version of your life. You start to understand your purpose, which is to control and manage energy. You start to understand this is a master class.